WNST Orioles series and all of the letters to Orioles management, players, and others over the next 6 weeks as we get up onto the trading deadline to get ready for football season. Everywhere this guy goes, though, it's basketball season, included over Druid Hill Park on Wednesday, where he is doing a homecoming, and I tell you, it's been a little while. I think it's been a couple, 2-3 years since I've caught up with this guy. He is one of my all-time favorites. It is always great to hear his voice. It was nice to see his face as part of the whole Dunbar 30 for 30 last year. We welcome Tyrone Muggsy Bogues back onto the program. Finally, a basketball player I can look eye to eye with here at my size and talk some ball and talk some charity, and I know you're honoring your sister. Welcome home, Muggsy. How's life for you down there in Charlotte? And good to see you up here in Baltimore dribbling with the kids, man.
Oh, man, it's amazing. It's grateful and thankful. I woke up this morning. I'm blessed. So I'm looking forward to this upcoming Wednesday to put on this event for my sister, Carrie, keep her legacy going. I mean, she meant so much to the inner city of Baltimore youth. I mean, she ran all the youth programs, football, basketball. So I'm just honored and thankful that I'm in this position to keep our legacy alive.
You know, when you talk about that, and for a guy like you, when you come home, and I think, you know, that's kind of heavy, right? And I think anybody that saw the 30 for 30 knows your background, where you came from. I lived it, chasing you around, you know, when you went down to Wake Forest and the ACC tournament down at the Capitol Center and all, you know, we lived through you as kids because you guys did stuff that we never did. And certainly, you know, getting to the NBA and all that stuff. But you come back here all these years later, how many people do you really see at Druid Hill that you know from 30, 35 years ago? I mean, when you say it's a homecoming, these little kids, they know of your legend. Maybe they've seen a TV show, whatever. But people our age that come and seek you out and remember you, and people that maybe you've missed in touch with over the last 20 or 30 years.
Well, believe it or not, I'm still in touch with pretty much the folks that was close to me as I was a kid growing up, my coaches, the friends. I never lose contact with them throughout. The Coach Wade, the Leon Howard, you know, even my friends, and the Daryl Woods and the Dwayne Woods and so forth. We still in communication, and that's who I am. I'll come back to Baltimore every year. You know, all my family's there, so it's always a homecoming when I come home. But, you know, just the fact that when I do come and see some of the people that were supportive and the people that you haven't seen for so many years, I mean, it's such an honor. You know, when we was growing up, life expectancy wasn't past 20 as we thought. I mean, just to see some of the grown folks now that, you know, had that era when we grew up and was able to make it through and now doing well and have kids and grandkids. I mean, it's such a treat to see, you know, everybody's at this stage in their life and things are moving forward. So I'm just happy and blessed that I have an opportunity to get to see those guys.
I'm smiling on camera, and if anybody's watching, but I'm looking at you with these little kids at your camp and the funny faces they're making, and you do a fundamentals camp, right? Like, so this isn't you just coming in and doing a couple hours in Baltimore because you feel. I mean, you're doing this type of stuff all the time with kids, and I think kids relate to you. I related to you, right? I mean, just because I couldn't believe a guy our size, you and me were kind of the same size, could do the things you do, you know, for these kids and you being out here day after day, it's still a kid's game for you, right?
It's definitely a kid's game. It's a joy. I mean, anytime I have an opportunity to pass on some knowledge to help someone else, I'm all willing to do so. Just the simple fact that the kids are engaging no matter what size you're, it's mainly just trying to give folks confidence and believe within themselves. Regardless if it wind up being in the basketball arena, just having the simple fact that you have confidence to go out there and pursue your dreams, whatever that may be. Curiously, I'm just doing it through basketball, but it's more of a self-esteem for me, you know, giving people the opportunity to look at my testimony, see me at what I was and what people were saying that I couldn't do and shouldn't do, and let them know that you can do whatever you want to do, whatever you dream on, whatever you carry that thought process in your head. So, but that's what my goals are. You know, every time I come in contact with the youth, anyone, that's the main message, to believe in yourself, to have that confidence, because you need it going forward because no one else will believe in you if you don't have that confidence within yourself.
Well, I mean, we're in a world now where bullying is out there on the internet. Bullying was old school in your day, especially in your neighborhood when you were your size, right? And, I think part of that is for all the people that told you you couldn't do it or tried to bully you, there must be something very special inside of you. I mean, I don't know at what point at 11, 12, 13, 14 years of age, given your size and given the sport you were trying to play, that who were the people you looked to for that sort of strength? I don't know where you find that in 1980 in Baltimore, Muggs.
Well, it wasn't the one that kind of looked like me the way I played. My strength was mainly came from my mom, my family, just not knowing what basketball was about, but just knew who her son was and knew that he wasn't feeling good about the times he was coming home when he was being made fun of. And, she always just said, Ty, nobody could be an expert on your life. Nobody know how big your heart is. If you want to play with that ball, you go right ahead and play. And at the time, you really didn't understand what that meant, but it gave me that, the incentive to go back out and keep playing. But those are the things that, you kind of, take from it, knowing that people didn't truly believe, but, you had that strength behind the scenes in terms of your mom and just trying to prove everybody wrong because no one have seen a guy my size trying to pursue what I was trying to pursue. So that was probably, a little a factor that played into that part. But for me, I didn't know that. I was a kid. I just knew they was being cruel, and I just want to prove them wrong. So that gave me the strength to just go out there and believe in me and show them that, hey, anybody's capable of playing this game of basketball.
Sports is amazing, right? I mean, we got a kid that gets drafted into the NFL with one arm. We've seen a major league pitcher now with one arm. I mean, it's incredible the disabilities and issues people can work through, right? And I know you spoke at McCormick recently and did an unsung hero banquet, and I think you should be the annual contributor, something like that, right? I mean, but everywhere you go, that is part of the speech, right? That you had to believe in you, even though most guys 5'1", 5'2", 5'3", given your age, would have believed that could have been the ceiling for them, right? They would have had a different kind of ceiling than maybe where your head was.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's the mindset. That's what it all boils down to, the mindset. Everybody has some sort of deficiency about themselves. We don't like this, we don't like that, or someone believes that they don't, that you don't have certain parts, but it's the mindset that separates us, and the one-arm guy that got, the athlete that got drafted, those are some mindset. If guys believe, guys understand that he had a dream that he wanted to play football, regardless of what his disability was. He believed that he can play with the best of it, and he found an avenue to do so. He found a team and a coach and staff that believed in him, and he was able to pursue his dreams. And that's what it all comes down to. You can't just give in and buy into what other folks, discount you as. You just got to continue to believe it within you and believe in yourself and continue to have that mindset to go out there and achieve the goals that you set forth. Because for me, every time I stepped on the court, it was that if I play against the best, if I have success against the best, then obviously I need to be included with the best. And that was something that I took every time I stepped on the court.
Tyrone Muggsy Bogues is our guest. He is back in Baltimore doing the good work with Baltimore City Parks and Recreation and all that they're doing over at Druid Hill on the basketball courts. It's going to be on Wednesday from 4 until 9. Absolutely free. Kids 5 to 17. Come on out, say hello to Muggsy, give him a high five, play a game of horse, play some ball. You talk about doing these tournaments and doing stuff with kids and whatnot. This is the thing that you come back for. You talk about your sister and her work and what it meant to you. I mean, everybody in your family, in and around. Look at what Bob Wade, going on, after life down in Maryland to come back to the city and serve all the schools. And I had Coach Wade on last year during the 30 for 30 and all that. But for all of you, that it's still 35 years later, people are now making movies about your life, about your legacy, about what you're doing, and you get to come back and still be a part of it once a year. I know you'd love to do it once a month. Tell everybody what they can expect out there on Wednesday for because this is your vision to put this thing together every year.
It's going to be a fun festival day, mainly surrounded for the kids. And we just want everybody to come out and support them because that's what my sister stood for, giving these kids avenue to where they can pursue their dreams, continue to play the craft that they believed in, had a hobby that they had a passion for. Then she made sure that, they all had that opportunity. She took the teams out of town, missed many family events because of the simple fact that, Thanksgiving, they had a tournament in New Jersey that she had to be at. So, I mean, her dedication was unbelievable. So I just thankful that I'm in this position to keep that legacy going, because she was my hero. And so the folks that need to expect what's going to take place on Wednesday, just a fun festival evening. We just wish everybody in the Baltimore City who have the opportunity, the time to come out and support the youth. It's going to be a parade, bouncy balls, and a lot of basketball take place. We got a football tournament as well. So it's just going to be a fun day. It's free. Just want everybody to come out and support and enjoy it and have fun that day.
Food, music, basketball, football. It's all at Druid Hill Basketball Courts, 3001 East Drive. You can learn more information about it at BCRP Sports and the Baltimore City government. Muggsy, last thing for you, because I did not track you down and search you out 9 months ago. We didn't talk at all. Bobby Sablehouse is an old pal of mine as well, and he threw the football around pretty well back in his day as well. And putting this thing together, reached me a couple of years ago, feels like 3-4 years ago now, asking me if I knew where there would be footage of, the film being shot down in Dunbar back in the early 80s when you and Russ and Wingate, all those guys down there with Coach Wade. And, he had a hard time literally finding footage because there weren't video cameras and camcorders and cell phones or any of that. And a lot of the TV crews didn't even come down there and shoot you. None of the games were televised sort of professionally. All of it was sort of handheld. And then, between then and I had him on the show once or twice, and he reached to me for some media people that may have known some of you guys or some stories to be told. It was a little young for me. I didn't ever set foot in the Dunbar gym until afterwards, until Pete Pompey got there, and until Sam Cassell was running around by the time I got there, but because you were a little older than me and those guys were a little younger than me. But that era and the fact that it came back and the 30 for 30 came back and that lots of folks that weren't familiar with your story, not just in Baltimore, but around the world, it brought to life a part of your life. Everybody knew you were the little guy that dribbled in the NBA, but I don't know that everybody knew the Dunbar story. I did, we did, because we're here. Boy, that was really a wonderful thing, and I know you're probably every airport you go through now, you got to talk about it a little bit, but a year later, I'm glad that someone celebrated what you guys did at Dunbar and for the city, especially on the back end of all the unrest we've had here and the problems, and I live at the harbor, you know that, how much we both love Baltimore, but that was a hell of a story, Muggs.
Well, thank you, yeah, and credit to Bobby and those guys and Shelton, that put this thing together. It really turned out pretty good, pretty daggone good, I should say. Only regret I just have of it that I wish they would have spent a little more time on the other guys, letting everybody know what they done and where they went in terms in college, because we had everybody that went to a Division I school. But overall, it was a great documentary. They covered covered the era when we was coming up perfectly, doing what was going on at the time when we was out there pursuing our dreams. I really was pleased with the documentary. And of course, you're right. I do get stopped quite often and be asked about it. It just was an amazing time for us, all those egos on that team, and Coach was able to manifest those egos into one, and to one ultimate goal, and that was the beauty behind it. He really mentored us well. He prepared us well for life, really, because many of us didn't have, fathers in the household, so having that male presence and having that understanding what it takes, to stay focused as a student athlete, was unbelievable in terms of how he was able to manage that amongst 15 guys that had that same mindset.
Well, you mentioned Poet Pride. I mean, I remember Tommy Polly came to me when his playing career was up, and I run into Tommy and his wife and their Facebook friends and whatnot, and I remember he was working on. I mean, there really is something about Dunbar, and I went to Dundalk, and we've rebuilt our school, and they put me in the Hall of Fame last year, and I went back there, and it's all different. I mean, our school's gone. It's a completely different school. You guys go back. I mean, the amount of pride you must feel. I used to park out in front of your place every single day. My wife battled for her life twice over at Hopkins, and I literally would park my car right there, Orleans, and right in front of the high school. And I don't ever look up and see Paul Lawrence Dunbar without thinking about you guys because I lived here. But I think it's even different. Not just you guys laid the bricks, but then there were all those guys like Tommy Polly and all these other people that came later that revered you guys. That they say it was all about you guys having laid the bricks and a foundation for them to be able to do it. But there was none of that for you guys, right? I mean, for you guys, it was like Skip Wise and stuff. I mean, there were not a whole lot of success stories before you guys created those success stories.
No, we had a lot. I mean, you had Coach Wade had some teams with the Dwayne Woods and Kevin Bush and those guys and Barry Scott. They had a pretty successful. And also, you go back to the Ernie Graham days.
Sure.
Ernie and and even with Tony Brown, and when Sugar Kane was there, so we had Dunbar always had a long run.
But not 3-4 guys going to the NBA as first round picks. I mean that was you guys
and then
doing
you
that.
had Skip Wise, that team when they went 16-0 when they had all their games on the road. So it's a debate there, but our era we really kind of was able to put us on the map on the national level. We was able to, showcase our talent around the world, and I think Coach Wade prepared us best for that by putting the schedule together, giving us the opportunity to face these teams that people thought was the best teams out there, and giving us the opportunity to go out there and show, what we was all made of. And by us able to do that, it did allow us to put us on the map and start that, that national conversation on a daily basis. And Sam, those guys ran with it, right afterwards, and that was able to keep that, keep the school afloat. But those were the days where you're right, in terms of not much success was happening at the time, but it was just more locally. But we was able to put us on the national level.
Muggsy Bogues is our guest. He's going to be over at Trudeau Park on Wednesday, shooting the basketball around, throwing the football around, music, food, the whole deal. 4 till 7 on the 27th on Wednesday. You can get all that information up with the Baltimore City Public Recreation and Parks and on their website. Last thing for you, Muggs, Golden State winning and the NBA and the state of the NBA and LeBron picking where he's going. I mean, you played the game a long time. You're still very involved, obviously. What the Warriors have done is really incredible. And, I never thought – I guess I always wondered as a kid when we would see NBA teams that shot the ball like the Harlem Globetrotters, like sort of, shooting tricks kind of thing. And you tried to do it for a very long, period of time at that level. I mean, what we're seeing them do as a team, as individuals, there's a whole new era. I mean, we lived through it. You lived through it with the Bulls and whatnot. This is something to behold. I don't know where the end of this is, right?
That is true. We don't know where the end is. It's a remarkable time what Golden State is doing, and this run that they're having right now. And you're right. You alluded to it earlier about the Chicago team was kind of the super team, as they say. But this Warriors run right now. I mean, it's scary. It really is scary because these guys are still relatively young, and they have a means of, wanting to continue to keep doing it and may keep adding little pieces that possibly keep, keeping them in that position to do so. And with LeBron quest of trying to, capture another championship, this summer is going to be very key in terms of where he winds up and where he lands, because there's only few teams that he possibly can go to that can probably dethrone Golden State Warriors right now. But you got to appreciate this time right now. This basketball is at its highest. I mean, Commissioner Adam is really doing an excellent job of promoting the game. It's a global game. We're over in more 300 and some countries, and we got so many now partnerships that's involved with the game. So the game has been iconic And I'm just grateful to still be part of it. So people need to just appreciate what Golden State is doing right now because, I mean, this is very rare for this to be happening.
Well, from the basketball courts in East Baltimore, it's now a global game. How about that, Muggs?
I love it.
Own a little piece of that while the World Cup's going on. They're playing soccer. Hey, man, we'll see you on Wednesday over Trudeau. Hey, stay in touch. It's always great to have you. And I know you don't remember dragging me in to that disco in Vegas where Charles Barkley bought me beer, but I do. And 20 years later, I'm still appreciative that you allowed Chuck to pick up the bill for a couple of beers for me.
You're more than welcome, partner. Good talking to you and look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Muggsy Bogues, our old pal from East Baltimore, joining us here. It's going to happen over at Druid Hill on Wednesday, and it is true. Charles Barkley bought me more beer than I probably should have drank that night at the Rio in Las Vegas. But hey, the Yankees had just won the World Series, and I needed to drown my sorrow somewhere. The tournament is for Muggsy's sister. It is the third annual event. It is on Wednesday from 4 until 9. It's at Druid Hill basketball courts. Ages 5 until 17. I don't think they'll throw anybody out. Come on over. You can get more information, 410-396-7019, to learn more about that as well. And easy to find. Just over Druid Hill Park. Go see Muggsy dribble and say hello to one of the living legends here of Baltimore, Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, a guy I still see eye to eye with, and you know what I mean. The buy at Toyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device. You can find it. Just download the TuneIn radio app and turn it up. Podcast, listen when you want, where you want, how you want. It's the buy a Toyota.com audio vault. The morning newspaper ships directly to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That's powered up by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com, where it's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life guaranteed. They're also running the races at Laurel this weekend. The entries in the morning newspaper each and every morning, as well as on the front of WNST.net. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Jockey Club and our friends down at Laurel. Breaking news, if the Orioles deal Manny Machado, you get it first on the WNST Tech Service. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis will be here this Thursday, getting you ready for the weekend. We are in the midst of a lot of baseball conversation, the Dear Orioles series, individual letters, because I am a man of letters, to each and every one of the members of the Orioles organization. You're going to learn a lot. You'll probably be appalled because I've been appalled over 25 years, so why not just be honest? I turned 50 this year. Let the pigeons loose, as they once said. Nasty at WNST.net finds me, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook right here on the internet, as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports, and Muggsy Bogues is your proof.